A mikrofon je bio upaljen sve vrijeme. Damn. Pozdrav. Danas od ovog puta Fear and Hunger neće zeba. Ali vidjet ćemo. The fuck je compressed? A. To je ovo. Termina Fear and Hunger. Fear and Hunger 1.4, on je bio 1.2, pa vjerojatno zbog toga je pravilo problema. Evo ne vez. Yo, what up, merciful? We gotta be killing your gods today. Čekamo nekih 5 minuta. Drago mi je. Ali ne, nekako, drago mi je da si se svidjelo, ali ne, malo mi se ne sviđa što video nije baš on blow up. Nije da je blow upao, nego na foru da nemam toki traction ko ostale vidi što kačemo, ne vez. Bilo mi interesantno, bukvalo sam imao list, bukvalo sam po prvi put napravio listu stvari što hoću da uradim za video. Bože dragi, uvijek imam neki laki, neko stranje, vrati, po stolu, what the fuck. Ne pali mi toliko kosa stvari. Na šta ima da krenemo malo ranije? Već krimi ljudi. I'm on time for once, yeah. Pa za 4.2 imam neke planove, ali gledam kako ću da ih realizujem. A na foru sljedeći video neće biti kompilacija, bit će Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals video. Tako da bit će ono full dueli, šta je bilo na vlog i to. Plus sutra neću streamati zato što želim da imam neke obaveze. Želim da uvežbam također tratu koja je nova meta. Da malo srednji špil, da odlučim šta ću da koristim za turnir. Pošto ovaj turnir je Championship. Tako da tu ne smem da pravim sranjem. Treba da sve bude kako treba. I tako. Uglavnom, ajde da ne dužim. Šta već, mi da nastavimo. Igrica je sada updateovana. Updateovao sam je sa 2. nešto na ovaj na 1.4, tako da vjerojatno sada neće imati glitch što smo ranije imali. Gledam zašto mi ne radi zor, zašto se prebacio na srpsku tastaturu. Znači, zadnji put smo završili ovdje, tačnije smo baš završili, ovdje sam uspio nekako da se izvučem, da sačuvam progres. Ja, isključili smo Mahabre bili. Tačno. Sa onim Cubes the Depths, tako da idemo sada. I ovaj lik nije normalan, tako da imamo prvo njega da sredimo. Skinemo ruke. Tek sam upalio igricu. I ona je... Čekaj, da vam možda ovako da potrebam? Fuck me sideways. What the fuck? Tek smo počeli prokletstvo. Da pokažem jednu zanimljivu stvar, ako mi dozvoli. Gaming na Windows 7, aka Windows 11, zato što sam kraker... I otvorio sam, što imam ovdje? Ništa. Beauty folder, postalo sranje što koristim, što sam poskidao milion puta. Vjerojatno će raditi ovako. Ako ne, jebi ga. Great difficulty. Znači, ako kad napadam, neće ništa da točkam. Bar neće tada da zezu. A, skidao sam mu mač samo. Nice. Gađemo za glavu. Mašli smo u glavu. Ovo ga žvajzno u glavu. Našara je napravio dobar hit. Bye bye. Znači tvoju dušu. A sword, long sword, gauntleted armor, gauntleted bracelet. Skelo imaš nove igračke. Neko šta ti ima nove igračke. Da li je nešto od ovih čuda mogu da koristim? Nope. Full armor. Mogu praise throw za bolji magic defense. Čekaj, a to mi promeni izgled. Sad imam drip. Okej, da vidim kako je stanje sa svima. Munas treba malo da bude nahilana. Što da je bila hit od ovoga viteza. Da će ti blue herb, 2. Što je nekako fucked atmosfera ovoga Mahabra prošlog. Čuje se gitara u pozadini dok kamenje neko baca. Gordon Ramsay looking ass. I što palimo vremeplov i idemo nazad. Ok, znači, gdje treba da idemo? Treba da vidimo za Našaru da nađemo telo. Se nalazi skroz dole. Ja ću praviti story time videe. Ne vjerujem. Ne vjerujem da će raditi tako nešto. Search. Heads or tails? Tails never fails, idemo. Imamo još jedan save point. Lud, nešto nije stabilno, nešto je nestabilno, what the fuck? Što idemo dalje od Mehabra, to se fucked. Investigate... To je isto. Isti tekst koji smo dobili prošlog puta. Čekaj da probam ovako da stavim. Command remember, yes, to mi koristi. Enable and disable filter effects. Dobro sam. Starting feel hungry. Na presići dajemo ovo. Evo ga Diddler. Našao sam torch. Cloth fragment. Raw meat. Monkloj. Monstloje. Šta mu je to? Brate, nešto equipable, znači, prvo da nahranim Moonless, već ga sam ovdje. I'm on a sale. That's what I slightly improves accuracy on the wear. Okay. Če rekao za PDD, ja ne znam kako te lik uspeo da se izvuče. Ono, legit je imalo sve što tiče ovoga PDD da će biti u zatvoru i na kraju ništa. Možemo u film da nastavimo. Interesantna depikcija. Wait. Ball. Onda možemo triggeramo mašinu. Vidimo. Prosim da ovdje nismo mogli ranije da dođemo. Vidim kako je ovdje... u prošlosti. How is in the past. Iskreno mi je drago što je ovaj ubacio dijagonalno hodanje u... Blood sacrifice. You have everything from God has to open at the moment. So it's ready. Ovdje mogu da save-am. Da restam bezbilno. Ok, to je cool. Što najgore, lik se izvuku u vrijeme kada su ovi... kako se zove... Kada su uvijek htjeli da objave Epstein files i na kraju rekli nećemo to da uradimo. Ne još. Što radimo? Ovo je Darcy. Investigate. She's scared, so and badly beaten. Dead in other words, seeming like her ribs were crushed by dense force. Ok, nisam očekivao Darcy da ćemo naći Darcy ovdje. Od svih. Lucky coin, to mi daj, to će mi trebati. Fuck, brat. Is the budget specific card? Great. What the fuck? What the fuck je to? The fuck je to sranje? Holy shit. Našao se radi ga moment. Poke. Sram. A to je ono čudo što je mnogo napalo. To je ovdje uđen. Rotten meat. Ok, već smo srčili tako da nema ništa u budućnosti, ako srčimo u prošlosti. Sad smo opet ovdje. Šta je kod tebe napano? Sure, stari. Otvore passage over the case of eternity, tribunal through the trials, blah blah blah. Da, aj. Ti vra, jer stvarno ne znam šta se igri su. Da svičamo na Terminu. O dobro, čekaj sam da... Da mi se prebacujemo na Fear Hunger Terminu, šta mislite? Pošto vidim da ovo neće da radi više. Ne želi da radi. Ono ne da se prosto. Aj. Samo ja da vidim da sam ja... Da li ja imam... Da li sam instalirao sensor mode na ovome? Yeah, the game froze, so we're gonna try the other game. Prvo, da vidim ja, prvo da testiram. Da li su enemy i ostalo čude cenzurisane, pa onda ćemo igrati. Pošto mislim da sam instalirao mod kako treba i da radi. Kako bi sebe opisao pre 9 godina? Nikako. Prvi imamo jebač koji mi izađe, ja ću da saveam kod tebe. Prvi motherfucker koji ima dick out, cock out i ostalo stranje. Mi se pojavi... Yeah, I have a second game that I wanted to play. But I wanted to first beat the first one. And then to play the other one. I finished the second one. Because it had easy mode, but I wanted to like play the what the fuck is this? I wanted to play the original. Okay, ima li neki enemy koji ima nešto na sebi da je provokativno? Previše. Ima li neko sa šlongom velikim da može da me napadne? Okay. To title. Gledam... cenzurisao sam ga, okej. Okej. Nije ono gdje igri, sam ga foru gledam da li igrica ošto je cenzurisana. Okej, moram počnem iz početka. Ja sad imam 2 save-a od sa strane, ali... Što da radite, imamo s nekim drugim karakterom. Obično sam pikao Makoa ili ili sam odabrao Oliviju i ono, ajde pravom nešto drugo. Zapravo, imam Osu koju imam našaru kod sebe. Tebi sam zaboravio ime. Imamo Marina ovdje što je i ovaj mali što je. Da li igramo Dots, vrat? I played it on Windows, it's the same bullshit. I isto sam piratizovao, znači nisam imao problem nikakav sa Terminom, tako da ja... Okej, odaberite koga ćemo. Choose which one gonna be. We're gonna be an ex-crack-addict soldier. A transgender witch. The doctor. The mechanic. The black one. Or the journalist. Makoa sam igrao, nju sam malo kao na foru u modu kao normalnom igrao. Ali je. The black one, ja? Znači biramo the black one. Info.
Constantly to other priest believes Yellow Mages and detected their life is slaves to worship. Yellow Mages searches all the worldly powers only to use their own benefit and further their own agenda. 32 years old.
Let's fucking go. OSA. I like the woman with the glasses though. We're gonna pick her up. Okay. Wait, hold on. No. What the No! Son of a bitch. Ne! Ace s kontrole. Nisam htio odmah početi, ja sam ga imenujem. Promenit ću naslov kasnije, ne mogu sada. Fuck. Tako mi treba kad kuca. Znači moram... OSA. Shadow. Wizard Money Gang. Idemo FireKG, nema šanse da prođemo Maso XSM mod. Nema šanse, Easy Air mod. Okay. I'm the black one. So here's the character history. Give me the bridge with full text adventure, nego šta? The smooth sound of railway tracks. You are not used to such peace and tranquil atmosphere. You can't help but let your mind wander. You reminisce what has led you to this point in life. Kako već. You were born and raised in the raging heats of Abyssinia, the continent with a long history embedded with chaos and burning factions. Those fools, the people around you, waged wars over ancient pictures and grudges started by long gone ancestors. But that is how it always has been. The people of Abyssinia held ancestors and their spirits on a godlike pedestal. But it's not like it was any better in the north, the continent of Europa. Those fools worshipped ancient deities that none of them had ever seen with their own eyes. It is certainly had their disputes as well, a great war after another. What's worse, their disputes they didn't stay within their borders. They dragged everyone else into their mess. They had set their eyes on Abyssinia now, because its strategic position in securing an areas to oil and other raw materials from east. It was only a matter of time before the troops would march on your land. You're going to die because some faceless puppeteers choose to focus their meaningful glasses onto your home country this time. Despite your young age, you decide to leave. Your siblings, mother, who would... Fuck me. Your siblings and mother, whom you departure, they wanted you to have something to remember them by. Čak ili Soulstone. Ima da uzmemo Soulstone. Ne znam, čak daju nam onaj Magic Boost. Soulstone nam daje mu zebi. Evo se ćemo Soulstone, fuck it. I took the Soulstone with you. It was said to hold your... it said to call father spirit in it. He had considered yourself as a sexually dead inside, not swayed by emotion, but it looked a lot of effort to convince yourself that you wouldn't miss your family. you still obviously had weaknesses to weed out. Koliko si igra dugo Terminu? Igrao sam prošle godine mu dosta Terminu. Jedno sam stao. You headed to the city of the sun, Amon, to endure yourself on the spiritualism and religion. You're not so physically, but you consider your intellect your true worth. To sam pročitao nikako. And just like that, you are accepted as an apprentice after some parliamentary test. At the same time, the news about the Great War closing Abyssinia borders were all they could talk on the radio. Amon was far from the borders, and it would probably remain safe for good while, even after the war broke. You figured out you would still have plenty of time to learn at the temple and leave the country before it was too late. I like how you went personality. The Temple of Ammon. You were given a choice: learn various different schools or spiritualism. Learn worship in Europe, learn worship in Eastern sanctuaries, learn methods from your home country. Eastern sanctuaries. A iz domovine da vidimo što možemo da dobijemo. You learn meditation. You were talented and praised for your quick learning at the temple, but came no surprise to you. You knew you were smarter than most of those old geezers. They only possessed knowledge you wanted. Once you had that, they served no purpose to you. More time you spent at the temple, more pathetic the priests of Ammon started to look in your eyes. Religion and Galen started to look dubious too, after explaining how the world functions. Most religious doctrines were molded to accommodate the current ruling class. Religion has used as a mere tool to control masses more than anything else. Dedicating your life to worship would equal dedicate your life to kings and queens of the time. You left your home because you didn't want to die fighting someone else's war, so why would you waste your time serving someone else's in turn? Around this time you found the old scroll from one of the many unknown libraries. The scroll mentioned the old sect of magical practitioners originating from Eastern sanctuaries whose world view seemed more appealing to you. Yellow mages, different from the typical priest, instead of dedicating their lives to worship gods existed for them. Their force was to be harnessed to further one's own personal growth and agenda. Instead of finding order from the commandants led you out by the gods, yellow mages reveled in chaos. Chaos was the natural state of the world, would return in time and time again, so why even try and force it to anything else? You quit at the temple of Ammon and decided to head east in pursuit of these yellow mages. You travel beyond your home continent, ultimately finding yourself at the narrow streets of eastern sanctuaries. You got acquainted with local temples. Even though they have adopted the worship of all mere as their mere religion. Sanctuaries were no better than the Temple of Ammon in that regard. If anything, religions were even more prevalent there and dedicated the way people were to live and die. You were looked down upon your scholars and religious leaders of the era because your very public opinions, they didn't bother you. You knew better. Your time conviction, in time your conviction convicted the fasts you wanted. You were approached by a group of traveling mages who were qualified. Šta već, yellow mages that were still around this. Yellow mages that were still around this day and the age were reduced to small, separate groups wandering around the world to study all fields of otherworldly. Groups saw the potential in you and offered a place among them. You liked what you heard and decided to join the wandering group. What did you specialize in? Learn basic techniques, more advanced magic. To! I learned the hurting away next spell. Learn about your path of learning and self-growth grew no end. Your travels brought you to a small border town in eastern centuries. There you met a curious person, Khalid Azif, a self-proclaimed visitor from the Far East. Despite pretentious appearance, his family's name Azif was well known and even somewhat feared in certain occult circles, which gave his claims at least some credibility. He was gathering a group of adventurers to accompany him on the previous quest. He had inherited the map from his late grandfather that was supposed to lead him to the infamous dungeon of fear and hunger itself. Okay. The place used to be a noteworthy location of pilgrimages for many aspiring mages and priests in the distant past. The yellow mages you had spent time with Lucy told ominous tales about the dungeon as well. Immediately you dismiss as if talks only to be hunted by the most brutal nightmares on the following night. Something was calling for you. You had to witness that place yourself. You joined the morning crew on adventures as if had managed to put together and travel through the war-torn Europa. Most of the crew quit halfway to Ronda because of how difficult it was to cross the borders during those chaotic times. The closest to the nation you got, more feverish your dreams became. The remaining members of your ragtag fellowship were visibly sick from stress and utterly pressure that had befallen on you the moment you set on your quest. No good yellow. Yeah. But, the breaking point was the day you were finally arrive at a dungeon. Heavy fog drowned your camp and made navigation impossible. Using compass did no good as the thing was just spinning in circles wildly. Distant growls and howls created unrest. Not that you were any need of that, as a special and constant misfortune had already committed your fellow travelers that this trip was cursed from the start. Your companion picked and scattered to a mist, as if himself had been sick from the constant nightmares for the half of the trip already. You left him curled up in a fetus position in his tent and wandered forward on your own. Damn. Ovo se dešava u drugom ne, mislim se dešava u prvom. Negdje, između prvog I drugog svjetskog rata. After walking for a while, you started to make out something behind a thick white veil. The mist revealed structures of some kind. You got set on old ruins, or they look more like measly pile of rubble now. If it wasn't for the dreadful aura emanating from the deep within, you couldn't tell whether there was anything remarkable about this place whatsoever. Near the main entrance arch there is a makeshift archaeological site which stands and digging equipment. The side looked abandoned. On the other side, there was a side entrance to the dungeons with stairs leading down to the darkness below. 7 tents head to the main entrance, head to side entrance. 7 tents. The architecture side seemed relatively new, maybe a couple of years old at tops. There was no sign of people. Wherever had set up had long abandoned in place too. All the documents and reports were written in Berman, so you couldn't tell what else those people were looking for. Might have been just a regular archaeological excursion that stumbled into the certain doom unknowingly. If there truly were dungeons of fear and hunger, then even in their current state, they would surely swallow unprepared tourists whole. Near the main entrance arch, there were the makeshift archaeological. Okay. Side entrance. Cautiously, you walk down the slippery stairs down to find a cave-in. Oh, čekaj, mi idemo u dungeon. Side entrance direktno ide u podrum. The highway had totally collapsed and there seemed to be no way around it. Buried under the rubble there was an old skeleton of medieval leather armor crushed under upon tons of rocks. You didn't want to suffer the same fate with the skeleton, so you turned back. Main entrance. The moment you step inside the dungeon, you felt the immense otherworldly pressure. You understood that the place would drain any normal person to the brink of madness and starvation in a matter of mere hours. You had to be efficient about this. Even if the day was still bright, the darkness seemed to suffocate all light and you could barely see anything ahead of you. You lit up the torch. You stood at the vestibule of the dungeon. To your left, you saw the doorway leading to what seemed like a kitchen. It was a small room with old wooden furniture in front of, and to your right there was a closed door. Kitchen, vjerojatno bi našli hranu neku. It was slow, got a cupboards, those stains. At the end, there were old cupboards and kitchen utilities. You had a collapse on the ground. The other corner was the row of old wooden barrels. That's why I've been once upon stored full, but a country years ago there was nothing useful in that anymore. So you heard the loud banging, screeching from the entrance of the hall. A rain was rushing through you as you ran back to see what was causing the noise. The closer was jolting from the hinges. Something big was trying to force its way through the door. What was created that inhumane, brutal sounds between its swings at the door. Hide in the kitchen, hide in the room in front of you. Wait and see what it is. Ajde da vidimo šta je. You brace yourself for whatever has to come. You fear that Shrine Mage, Jericho said, doesn't need to hide from the dangers. And the door clashed open, and all the huge four beasts pushed in front of the doorway. It actually looked like it could have been a human, but actually had distorted its features beyond recognition. Four archaeologists, he had extra members pushing through his torsos, some which had grown talons just to perverse the human physique even further. The beast had noticed you and charged towards you with intense hatred, cast hurting on you. Tails nerve, yow. Your attacks were futile. The creature managed to flay you within its lumpy arm before you had a chance to react. You crashed against the wall and felt your ribs give in. The beast would continue plummeting in you if you hasn't for the blinding light shining from the outside. It was obvious the creature had never seen daylight in ages, even a Redditor. The thing tried to shelter its sight from the last rays of the sun. This gave you opportunity to run past it. You headed straight to the dark corridor the beast had busted through before. You ran as fast as you could, creating distance to the malformed beast with each step. You couldn't see much in the darkness, but the doorframe had a light shining through its crack. Caught you treasure. You checked the door. You tackled the door open and stumbled to an overgrown courtyard. Quickly glancing back the dark corridor, you notice that the beast has nowhere to be seen. You figure out that the last rays of the setting sun still kept you at bay. You took a breather and slowly walked across the yard. The grass had taken sticky yellowish color, and the setting sun created an ominous shadow that its rays hit the long gallows standing at the center of the enclosure. As you managed to focus your thoughts, you realized that there was an additional voice echoing from in your head. Something was calling you from the depths of this forsaken fortress. There was something very curious about this echo. You need to find its source. Not like you had a choice, but to delve deeper as the sun was rapidly setting down, stripping you from the last barrier that kept the murderous beast hiding in a shadow. The corridor led you to another door in the darkness. You pushed it forward. U čemu je razlika između RPG-a i JRPG-a? Ne znam šta znači. RPG je kind of for role-playing game, a ne znam šta je JRPG. You were foyer of the dungeon. You were at the foyer dungeon. The hall was large. To your left was a laboratory, but to your right there was a long corridor leading to a total darkness, and before you rose a large stairway. Ako je po logici ovoga Fear Hungera, ako odaberemo stairway, idemo direktno dole do ovoga. The wide stairway leads you to the old Olmir sacrificial altar with the skeleton crucified. Oh, okay, otišli smo da smo onog lika. Fucking sacrifice. Zemlji altar was a typical ritual crucifix used to worship Olmir, the Ascended One. A sacrifice would be put on a cross, and their blood would slowly be drained for days to come. Traditionally, such rituals were used for protection. Olmir would look after the immediate surrounding as long as the blood was running down the cross. The last sacrifice so it must have been this skeleton. There was no blood dripping from the cross anymore, so no protection of Olmir was either. Check the side path. The path was narrow corridor, cruelly made from misshapen bricks and stones. It looked like the floor had collapsed at certain points, but you were able to hop over the trench with ease. Large door opened before you. The room stood out with its... Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cheat them. The room stood out with its thinner decor, spiral floor ceiling, and many bookcases covering the walls. Surrounded by the southern corner of the room had a small doorway surrounded in darkness. The northern corner was more dilapidated with carved ceiling and all. Such bookshelves. Also, the bookshelf were left. Ok, ovo je bitno što moramo da uzmemo. Ako uzmemo Skin Bible Sylvian? Ne, okej, moram da razmislimo. Was a book growing mold on the country here, there was like a handful of manuscripts that appear especially in you. Ako odebramo Sylvian, ne, treba da uzmemo Grogorov, zbog ofizije magije. Jesam trebao Sylvian da uzmem. Nekako ćemo podići Affinity Sylvian. The manuscripts it all seem to be a part of a bigger compilation, and you would have loved to have all of them with you, but you had a job to do, and you couldn't burden yourself with too much extra luggage. A large one opened up before you. The room stood with its fine decor. Okay, to je već bilo. Check the doorway. You touch slowly lit up the small room, revealed a wooden desk with drawers, cabinets that was for Eastern centuries, judging by the pattern and partly eaten corpse that seemed to be part of the archaeological expedition. Search the desk, search the body. I search on the desk. The desk was trashed. Someone has been searched the desk. Most of the valuables been looted. Oh, there we go. Opening the drawer revealed only old and dusty letters of no importance. The bottom drawer seems to be stuck. You kick the drawer a couple of times and manage to force it open. I like a control out of the drawer. Faint whining could be heard from the wealthy eaten archaeologist. Ghost was trying to get on his feet as if stumbled upon a group of keys fell from his lap. Prison key. Idemo da je Legard bio zagađen. Slowly, one step at a time, a ghoul approached you with its mouth stretched and normally open. Fuck it, imamo heads. Hurting ovog puta. You finish the chant and focus your hatred and fury on the concentrated spot on the ghoul's soft torso. Like waters, the energy tore its archaeologist's skin and rotten meat and left a gaping hole in their place. Bukao sam radio hollow purple, no motherfucker. The surprised ghoul kept on advancing towards you as if nothing had happened. He had never faced living there before and seems like a traditional means of harm had little impact on someone who left no fear or pain. Who had no fear or pain. You backed away from the room, yet ghoul kept on following you. You cautiously hopped over the collapsed floor in the corridor, leading to the library. The creature was not agile, instead, face planted on the ground and tripped on the rubble. Znam, ako držim shift, ali neću to da radim. The ghoul was waist deep in trench, unable to climb back up. Desperately, he tried reaching out for you with his blood-soaked hands. The whines and growls turned into agitated shrieks and furiously tried to snatch you. It looked like the creature was stuck. You figured out you'll best just leave in this area for now and explore somewhere else. The floor, how large? Where the floor? Okay. A, vratili smo se nazad. Lavatory? Let me... All toilet seating. All blood stains were mixed with... Ne. Return. Dark corridor. Your touch slowly pushed away the darkness as you advanced towards the unknown. The further you got, the stronger the echo inside your head became. You couldn't make out the words clearly, but it was definitely in the right direction to head. A larger room opened up behind a set of the rusty old bars. Your torch revealed human-like figures that stood just beyond the radius of the light. Upon closer inspection, you notice these figures were medieval Iron Maidens, human-shaped torture devices that had seen practical use judged by the form of the old stains that were formed from the seeping blood of their victims. The room had numerous other torture devices as well. Most of them would probably be inoperative in this day and age. Among them, you saw an old reinforced chest, and at the back of the room you saw corridor leading to the cells. Check the chest. The chest locked. It might as well have been video, you know. As you tried opening it, you realized the lock was still fully functioning. You couldn't open it without the proper key. You felt a cold draft run across your chamber. The draft seemed to be guiding towards the dark. Consider at the end of the room. Okay, I'm in the dark corridor. Loud cries and growls would be heard from behind you. Something big had just entered the foyer. You figure out it must have been the malformed archaeologists from before. The sun must have been set, which made it possible for the creature to advance through the courtyard. The creature must have your scent. Its footprint clearly closed in on you. You at a rapid fall. You had to act fast. The corridor had opened up as long multiple cell doors covering each side. Fuck Morastan. At the end there was a large bar sitting off the staircase. Only a rusty old lock stood in your way towards deeper darkness. Check the gate at the end of the corridor. You heard the creature trash the nearby torture chamber. He was right on your heels. You couldn't see him in the darkness, but you could sense its intense hatred homing on you. Gate was locked with reinforced lock. You tried to remain cool as you hoped for prison keys to work. Beasts already charging towards you. As you open up the gate and slip inside, only a second before the malfeited beast smashed against the bars, violent creature tried to reach you while making low grunts noises from his swollen throat. Bars and the gate seems to hold the beast from now, but you didn't want to stay and find out wherever the thing could eventually break you, even if that. Fuck, ne mogu da čitam od... Ok, možda napravim pauzu. Ja ne mogu da čitam više. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit, ovo se ima Bibliju za backstory. Sunce je mako na foru. Ja sam u gengu. I ono, pokušajem se na ljudi, onako, pao. Ovo brat ima text, adventure, backstory. He said he took the stairs deeper to the dungeon. Through the close and the top closed your mind. If the darkness had twisted those souls to become mindless beasts, would the same fate await you if you stayed at the dungeon for long enough? As I became sticky from the old gore and blood, the deeper you got. The air was stale and had a rotten smell to it. The voice inside your head got louder. You couldn't make any sense of any words, but it was definitely calling to you. Deeper. You had to get deeper. That was clear. You entered a huge chamber full of partially buried skeleton and rotting corpses laying around. The ground had a thick layer of dried blood and filth, which had occurred around the chamber, the walls, and all the years. Each step you took echoed to dazzling heights. You couldn't see the chamber ceiling. The walls just rose up forever to darkness. There were two staircases in a chamber. One led to the ground level. You just had escaped one, while the other one led you to the lower level. In the middle of the chamber there was a rather new-looking wooden contraption. I kliknuo sam prvu stvar koju mi daš. You walked up stairs and the scream of louder. You saw a thing banging on the gate relentlessly. The gate hinges was starting to get loose. It seemed like a creature could have broken at any moment, really. You decided to head back down the stairs. Examine the conservatory. You didn't notice a gaping hole at the center of the chamber until you get closer and your torch lit the surrounding. The wooden contraption had been built around it as a freight elevator of sorts, lifting and lowering items and people if necessary. The contraption itself stuck out just by not being stained with blood and filled like anything else. Judging by some of the equipment around, the elevator must have been used by the same archaeology expedition that had set dens outside. You could use a contraption yourself as a drop with you. Okay, there was stairs down. The stairs leading down were sticky with the same gleam like everything else in the chamber. A cold draft moved you along the chasm that awaited you the bottom. Dragon ravine opened up before you. Even your torch couldn't properly light up the area. There were iron grid platforms suspended above the seemingly bottomless chasm. Platforms that were mounted on the cavern walls and linked together with a shaky-looking bridge. The side you were on had a few individual prison cells in a row. What awaited on the other side on the bridge was surrounded by in darkness. Return up before, check the prison cell, walk the bridge. You try opening the cell doors, but all of them appeared to be locked. Some of the locks were too rusty even function properly anymore. There appeared to be no way inside the bars. Not that you missed anything important, the torchlight revealed just a regular prison utilities like piece buckets, chains, and a couple of skulls belonging to previous residents. A giant underground ravine opened up before you. Okay. Down. Ne dole. Walk over bridge. You cautiously walked over the bridge, just putting some weight on it, think caused to collapse off. Nuts and bolts fall onto the endless cobblestones at the end. But you braved across it. The bridge felt like it was about to collapse at any moment, but somehow it remained together. The other side of the ravine was more or less identical. There was more or less identical to the way we just came. A trees on row, the end of the platform was the corridor leading from the ravine to the ravine back to solid ground. Check the prison cells. The cell locked in, caught your attention. There was a huge, naked creature inside. Its features look human, but the person must have been at least 2.5 meters tall, if not more. The upper body of the thing was shrouded in darkness. For the moment you thought the creature was still breathing, but you figured it had been just flickering torch, creating illusions, surely. You walked away as quietly as possible, regardless. Corridor took a small intersection to the left. There was the doorway. Head deeper to the darkness. Feel the yellows, yeah. Touch pushed away the darkness. The dancing light flickered on the lone scalpel chained on the wall. On the corridor crawled back to the great chasm and spread at platforms. The great bridge connecting the two sides had completely collapsed on its head on the ravine. You noticed the rope tied to the platform. At the other end of the rope, you saw a corpse belonging to the archaeological expedition. The person had apparently hanged himself. The horrors of the dungeon must have been too much for him. Lifted the corpse. You pulled up the corpse. you were right in your assessment. The person had modern clothing that looked like stereotypical Western archaeology. The person was not in line. You picked up a rope though. The iron grid bridge connecting the two sides had completely collapsed at the end of the ravine. The pockets found out invaluable. Ok, ništa nismo specijalno našli. Examine ravine. You saw faint shades of darkness. You saw faint shapes in the darkness. The water seems to continue on the other side. God knows how dark this man-made area was. Head back. Small door. You're standing on a great iron platform and was suspended above the darkness ravine and opened up below you. The bridge that had linked the platform to the other side had collapsed entirely with a crow. What do you mean crow? Bridge remains. You walked on the bridge remains and looked down. Cancer was deep, very deep. Creature couldn't have survived the fall. That's what you kept yourself anyway. It's on the greater platform. Back to once you heard the echo inside your head. I could almost understand some of the words. Deeper. You must dwell deeper. The creeper has been solid at the bloody chambers. There were two stairs in the chamber. One led to the ground level and one cave. Stairs down. Down to the way to the bottom. Suddenly agreed. The platform. It collapsed until the crow. Okay. Yeah. Stairs down. Gdje možemo... Ravine? Ravine mi je oslo... Fuck off. Down. Ravine. Gdje to idem, brate? Ok, trebamo na Underfell. I znaš da... Znaš odakle je došao I can't remember. To je onaj meme gdje su ljudi editovali Mr. Tena intro, zato što je iz nekog razloga Toby Fox stavio kao MP3.4, tako da možeš bilo koji video da staviš kada Tena radio na njegov intro, što je insane. Moramo upper chambers. Pile of bodies. Most of the body decaying, decomposing, hundreds of years. Čekaj, mislim ne ode našle. Literally, as a matter of God, there is a question about the purpose of this chamber. There was no around to answer the fatal value. There was two sets of stairs in the chamber. One led to the ground level. Or well, okay, we're gonna go back. Anymore. Ja sam s takom, vrati, ja ne znam gdje treba da idem. Idemo gore. That's lifting and lowering. Treba mi je rope za ovo. Use the rope. You get it down. You look down a claustrophobic bloody pit. The pit open up and the reveal itself has even more open ravine upstairs. There are a huge cavern branch of the fortress ruins. The rope ended up on the top of the and crashed wreckage. The iron cage had crashed on the rocky ground from the pit you came from. A close inspection suggested that it was an elevator of some kind. Needless to say, it wasn't functional anymore. You stood up on the solid ground next to the wreckage. The cavern has a huge torchlight next to Head to darkness. Neću da radim nikakve boje. Jaj. Instead of walking to the darkness with torch working inside, only it's the light. As you walked away from the wreckage, the voice echoing inside your head became more distant. Further you got, more aggravated it got to. Where the source of this voice, it doesn't want you to go this way. Go back to the wreckage. Examine the elevator wreckage. The iron frame in the elevator has a bent toe. There was a broken chain hanging from the roof. The chain must have been lifted and lowered. The elevator is back to the elevator, it's still functioning. Is it on a solid ground? Yeah. You looked up at the rope, the climb, as long as you wanted to go back. To the campsite. You walked to the tents, you noticed there was no signs of life there. Archaeological crew was gone. A campfire had a couple of tents beside. Check out documents. Birmingham, looking for someone to suggest his position. Yeah, but office. Because Kaiser himself. Just digging inside, there was a picture. He said etched on the paper. The item looked mundane for most parts, but all of them had carving on them that were like buffalo. Imagine a coach you're aware of. One of the documents interest, especially with a sketch of the cubic object of various ornaments and sigils carved across. Something about this item raised the hair on your arm and made you sick from the stomach. There was something special about this cube. Not about it. The campus couple. Okay. Go down wooden platforms. This is down from the records depth. You had many misguided soul. Can you hear my call? Very clear this time around. Good, finally, the voice became more clear. The agricultural crew had been digging down and revealed something that should have stayed hidden. The ancient sculptures could clearly. The ancient structure could clearly been protruding from the rocky surface. It actually looked almost like a remains of the city of another time. Wooden platform took you straight to them. A ladder was set to lead you inside that what looked like the temple or some other place of worship. You climbed in. Most of the temple was dilapidated by the time, but you still spot some murals on the wall that depicted rituals and gods not known in this day and age. And I witnessed glimpses of something larger. The scale of the building was very impressed you. It was unlike anything you had ever seen. In recent centuries, the city Abyssinia, they all paled in comparison. The voice inside your head was getting loud. This way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. I dig the rubble with your bare hands, turned over the wooden structures and pulled away a stone pillar. There it was, soars the voice. A burned, weathered head. A sad head, to be more precise. A head had a deep lines running down across it. In the place of its eyes, dark, empty sockets. The only hair was on the head was a sparse mustache under its big nose. I was expecting a worm like you weaving its way this deep to the dungeon, but I will take what I get. Old earthworm do after all. It's thick. Your grievance. Maybe you do have more than camel's spunk in the place of your brains. You're a yellow mage, are you not? You confirm the suspicion of the beheaded oddity. Figures. That's why a measly maggot like yourself could hear my call. Very well. Kneel before me, for now I'm your master, Nashra, the doom and terror of the modern man. That name, Nashra. That's the name you were not expecting to hear. It was a name the Yellow Mages only talked in dark hours of the night. Nashra, the harbinger of burning crusades. Nashra, bringer of Torah. Nashra, the doom and terror of the modern man. The great wizard of the eastern sanctuaries. Went by many names. He indeed was your master, for beheaded wizard is the one who gave birth to Yellow Mages and their ideology. Only that had happened over 1,000 years earlier. There were no records of Nashra at least 500 years ago. You lucky bastard. Lucky indeed. If the oh my bože, kako se dere. There is a man I want skinned alive. After all, I want to rip their spines. Those maggots, they will slump before me limp and feeble. You must seem to be surprisingly up to date with twists and turns the world has taken since the absence. He had a mission for you. As a yellow mage, you were supposed to follow your ambitions and greed, but there was a lot you could learn from this defying wizard that could further your knowledge on the dark matters greatly. You decided to play along, and you were sure that this terror of the modern man was perfectly aware of your reasoning. That was a typical relationship between a yellow master mage and their apprentices, after all. You traveled to the small country of Eastern Europa with beheaded wizard to a town called Prehevel. Your master promised events of cosmic proportions. The stars were aligned for something big to happen, something that would turn the tides of the world for good. The head left out the details from his story on purpose, but a little to bother you. He had just jumped too deep in the otherworldly world. You couldn't have asked for more. With this little information about the task at hand, how do you prepare for the trip? Medical goods, magical goods, stockholm food, magical goods. Medical je jako... Healovanje i hrana u ovoj igrici su jako laki. Ali za mind ovo je dobro. Tabako i condensed lavender. You felt the tense sense of the moment. It felt the tense since the moment you embark on this journey. Even at night, you would see nightmares of horrors that would await you in Prehevel. Where the price opportunity was too impressing to pass. Interesting to pass. Fuck, ne mogu da čitam više. Ostajem bez vazduha. With mixed feelings, you continued onwards. Shape character history. Da. Please. Skip the intro. Ne moram. Holy fucking shit. Toliko je dug... ok, idemo za intro. Toliko je dug fucking intro da... Bukvalno smo igrali onaj... text travel, text adventure ovo stranje. Koliko si me na streamu? Holy fuck. Imam Dobro je. Na sekundu sam mislio da stream ne radi. Holy fucking shit. Čekaj, ja stanem da se odmorim od fucking čitanja. I feel like someone was watching you while you slept. Kako ću jedan da uradim? Daj da ubijemo sve. Ne znam. Ovo bi duranim ending gdje odem za... gdje postanem Sulfur God of Apprentice. Here a voice came from the beheaded business. I nisam pročio šta je Našara rekao. Koliko sam srd sunce ti je. Party talk. Okej, ništa. To je making, equipment. Evo ga Našara. Šta koga je equipment? I jedna dobra stvar. Čekaj. Bonso, to će nam biti od koristi ovdje. Više nego u prvoj igrici. Konačno gameplay. Konačno mogu da igram igricu. Suitcases. Ok, daj mi luggage. Small key. Možemo da uključimo na vrata bez da ih razvalimo. Mushroom stew, hrana. Plavi leptirić. This place is... No. Ok, nije dobra recenzura kao s onim modom, ali dovoljno je. You! I've been looking for you everywhere. Where did you think you ran off? Didn't you understand the hurry we're in? Oh yes, what is? The eyes of the general bulge out of the sockets as his pressure intensifies. No one expects you to. You stupid fucking human. After all. Now, get your ass back to the workbench. This is your last chance. Next time, punishment time. What are you supposed to do? What? You're supposed to assemble new cubes, of course. As for now, figure out yourself. If you're not capable of that much, you're beyond hope and useless in every sense of the word. What you googling at? There's nothing to see here. Eyes on the cube. Work or rip your eyes out of your pretty face. Girl in pink. Izgleda su skinuli Ninja Kovače, vrati sviđa. Nisam znao, ne pratim nikakve parodije da li je nešto otišlo. Izdaš na kraju sebe u Q. Okej. Here visit. Are you retarded? Your voice is probably... I'm retarded or what? Why the hell are you playing their games? I'm gonna assemble them all. Those are the really cool. Dylan Pink is trying to get your attention. IMA? Where do you think you're going? Oh shit. Oh fuck. No, then you can go back. Shit. Beži od mene. Didi. Ti je valjda kuš otišla? Radi stamina. Fuck ja, ne možemo stići. Opa. Your head hurts, you feel like you're losing your mind. Oh, the new gods! Evo ga onaj što je pričao s nama. Našara, imaš nešto da kažeš pod ovoga? Okej. Evo ga, ovaj mamo je baš. There you are. The moon is the moon god. You ponder. You read some vague tales about it during your time at Ammon Libraries. Got you pulled from that nasty place. You're going deep into that rabbit hole. Now you're safe under the green hue of the moon. Thank you. You're welcome. Since our roads could not possibly reach my master, I speak in his behalf. And who might my master be? Well, for now, let's just say that he's delinquent one. Rare. The trickster moon god. Opuštat će muziku, što bi se potrebio, you knew it. And me? You can call me Prekle. I am just a humble servant of his celestial majesty. Perkele. Perkele, the name does not sound familiar to you, but you're not sure you had heard it before. Sound familiar? Sound familiar. You're the dreamer. He is the dream. A master has invited 14 of you to join us in a jibble of cosmic proportion. 14 candidates, but only one true victor. The festival of Termina is upon us. Termina? Have you heard that name Berkeley before? The deity is often linked to the so-called festival of Termina. Information about the festival is murky, but it's often associated with times of great turmoil. Many massacres in the history have been blamed on this deity and the moon. Horrible acts have been committed in the name of leniency. You can't remember much else. The moon god in general is surrounded by great mystery, and its way is often left up unexplained. I don't know much about this. What is this festival? Termina. Is the festival it is a festival to give you, the humans, a peak of grandeur and chance to reach the illustrious heights. The festival to end all festivals. They must be very confusing to you, so I won't burden you with any more expositions and informations at the very moment. If you progress further, I'm glad to answer any questions later down the road. Let us meet again under the moonlight. You heard voices echoing from the beheaded vision. Wake up, maggot! The train, it seems to have stopped. You heard voices echoing from the beheaded vision. I just got grits of things. Let us proceed, we have work to do. Something seems off though. These Bungan usually modus operandi. Trust no one. But me, obviously. As long as you do what I say, I don't actually care about the trust part either. Now, move it, maggot. Okay. Trebalo je sat vremena da dođemo do samog početka igrice, baš. Mapa, treba mi to. Combat menu prehibble map. The menu is talking to himself. He seems completely lost in his own thoughts. I'm late. I'm so late. So that must be best course of action for now. You interrupt the discussion. You hear a voice echoing from the beheaded vision. What is this shit show now? Oh, the sleepy one got up. Excuse me, I'll be on my way. Oh. Ok, ima da skipamo intro zato što nebitno mi koliko. Ok, svi su otišli svojim putem, ovo otišla tamo. Konačno smo počeli. Igre se konačno počela. Green Herb. Drago mi je što je u drugoj igrici imamo... Čekaj, s kim Bible Grografom moram počitamo odmah. Destroyer Man, ovo mislim da zna već sve, Duality of Creation, Destruction, things without other... Okej... Mi znamo sve od Grogrofu šta je i kako je. Imamo Soulstone, Shilling, 4 komada. I najbolja stvar sad u tržištu volim je sad da mogu vidim da li sam nešto pokupio od negdje. Pokupim Rotten Meat, Vegetable Pile, Shillings, Fly Mantra. Je to jedan? Knife mi daj, hell yeah. Treći. Let's Good hoof. Red crab. Let's massage some people. Bar nećemo daleko otići ovo sa im. The fuck? Maybe poison or not. Let's leave it be. Okay. Da mi to. Lavander, to nam treba za magije. Ček, šta mi imamo od magija? I stvari... Meditation. Reach higher awareness, meditate about guarding and gain extra rep points on the turn. Okay, to je cool, to je savršeno. Dobro je da imamo ove rep pointove koje nam daju bonus napad u nekim situacijama. Samo pusta napad, vidite to. Ok. Da mogu ga napraviti mapu, ok. Znači, gledamo ovdje da ubijemo sve kao kontestanca, pošto to nikad nisam radio. Ok, to ne mogu da pokupim. Ne znam. Pečuke. Penny bun. Lavender, to mi treba. Prepostavljam ovdje će biti neki kerovi, ako se dobro sjećam. Don't deepen the roots. Ne mogu da pokupim. Da, ne mogu da, dok ne uzem onu knjigu da vidim šta je šta, ne mogu ništa. Ok, ovdje ne možemo prođemo. Zapravo da mogu da dam dijagonalno. Da sačuvam stamine, mogu da trošim. A, to je onaj čiča. Ja, ima da odem od njega. Samo ću se fino. Termina is upon us. Ja važe. Pardon, morao sam da dadim neki razgovor. Ja se izvinjavam. Ok, ovdje ima onih seljaka da ga mogu da nastavljam ko ništa. Ovo neću da otvaram zato što je toalet i ovdje ne... Ok, polako. Neću da se fajtam još. Koliko ja sanity imam? Ok, mind i body je na 100, tako da nema ništa veliko, nema ništa debufano i buffano. Oil, glass vial, to je odlična stvar. Face, moram te zaobiđem. I ovima sad me juri, jao. Tu će dva odjedno mogu da me genguju. Da će me prati vamo. Da će biti tu. Bit će tu i dalje. Savršeno. Apsolutno savršeno. Džukel. Moon Scorchovals. Ništa, idemo protiv ovoga. Let's go in here, I'm ready to burn myself, just you know. Okay, da vidimo. I require rep point. Guard plus. Znam način kako možemo sredimo ovdje. Talk. You try talking to a mouse man, but Marvel better mask. Leave. What was that? You're trying to answer, but you cannot make any sense of his words because of the mask. You're trying to remember the mask. He's not passing through. Znam da ovako možemo ga trollamo. While is looking cool. While is losing his cool because you lack of understanding. He loses his mask and the mask seems to have melted on his face partially, but uneven you can see the row of sharp teeth grimacing at you. Mora neko oružijemo. Heads. One of Sherry's there. Only the vial. Gas is leaking from the vial canister. Passenger is leaking from the canister constantly. Will took a good breather of his own passenger without his mask on. He's coughing blood. Tačno se sjeti što treba da radim protiv ovoga. Search. Found 2 shillings. Beat him? No. Saw his head. Da, treba će nam glave za upgrade, pošto njih možemo pretvoriti u soulstonove. Interesantno, ne možemo koristiti magije dok ne bacimo jedan rep point. By red pea. Ovo je otvoreno. Book have been neglected entirely. They're in a bad condition. Bookshelf seems to be bookcase seems to be giant. Glass shard. Ovdje znam da dobijemo white vials. Ništa specijalno ovdje. Black matter. This doesn't seem to work. Glass shards. Glass shards su jako OP. Baciš protivniku u oči i oni imaju no accuracy. Što ne mogu te pogode uopšte. Što je najjača taktika. Old man junk. To. Ovo ne treba. Alchemedije 3. Books. Alchemedije 3. Evo kako pravimo potion, ali to mislim da nije dovoljno, ali okej. And no way to leave candles here. To je sam basement dotak, možemo lagano odruđa. Okej. Ok, moram probam ruku da skinem, sikl da maknem. Inače sam gorio. Srba Berčak, level 2. Just guard. Nice. Ok, skill. What the fuck? A moram da revapujem. Ja mogu kriting da aktiviram. Ali mislim da nam neće trebati. Idemo da revapujem samo da je ubijem. Victorious. Srčan, sickle. Glavo nam treba za oni nju glas, šta već da su. Da li sickle mi je bolje od noža? Jest, 15 dodatnog napada. Ajde, tebi ćemo maknuti isto. Grab up. Nisam da mogu prosto da guard upujem ovo. Ali ne veze. Grab up. Skrem mu ruku. Šamar. 15 šamara, holy fuck. Evo. Mislim da će ovo biti monkey shot. Two shot, ne? Znači, što imaš? 2 shillings i headera mi daj. Moram da nađem novi bones da bi mu skinuo glavu. Za čudo. Čekaj, mi tu imamo brkova, imamo brkova. Bones, taman. Moram da nađem krevet negdje jer saveam igru, pošto blizu smo kraja. I... zdravo žena. Ima 2 noža. Ima 2 noža, to mi se ne sviđa. Moram kad sam kretim gdje ubijem odmah. Holy fucking shit. Normally cloth hang, cloth fragment. Nažalost, ne. How the fuck je ne... Nećeš mi njenu glavu. Okej, problem. Ja ću da geknem ko ništa ako ne nađem cloth fragment. Da moram da srčam još par puta u kuću. Jer ovdje gorimo? Mislim da ovdje gorimo nešto. Tails, never fails. Fails. Jebi ga. Znači padne stolica ovdje, ako se dobro sjećam, ne? Tu neće. Ali negdje i drugdje hoće. Taj. Dajmo potrebu nešto da nismo ovdje stražili. Što ja uvjerujem će umrti jako brzo ako ne sredimo ovu infekciju i ovo krvarnje. Umro sam od krvarnje. Gdje me zajebavaš? Ovo je bilo glupa smrt. Holy fucking... Ja mislim da se više na streamu da je otišlo... Najviše vreme da nam je otišlo na backstory gdje bukvalno istražujemo onaj Fidekanger Dungeon nego što smo uopšte igrali. Ali ne veze, igrat ćemo još malo s OS-om i... Ili možda ne, razmislit ću malo, da li da igramo i dalje OS ili da igramo nešto drugog na sljedećem streamu. Koji će biti vjerojatno sljedećem, zato što sutra ne streamam, imam neke obaveze. I... Preko sutra isto ne streamam zato što idem na turnir, tako da... Hvala puno Petru, Šenomistu, Mercifulu, koji su bili u chatu. Hvala vam puno što ste bili tu. Jedno nema više drugo da kažem, osim to je to. Sad ćemo pređemo Terminu. Malo mi je žao što nismo mogli da pređemo prvi Fidekanger, zato što igrica prosto nije htjela da funkcioniše. Ali nema veze. Uglavnom, to je to što tiče ovog streama.